Hello, my dear friends. So today I am going to talk about my philosophy of exercise. Why talking? First of all, as you see, I am a woman. And for some peculiarities of the woman's brain, we have an ability to think better when we speak. So men, take a note. You better start writing. Make your own maps of meaning. Make the logical, rational connections. And see where it will go, where will it take you. Learn from Jordan Peterson. He is a male. So, for me, while I am speaking, my thinking becomes better. So bear with me, my dear friends. Let's think through it together. Some of you love yoga and another esoteric teachings. And when you look at them, they all talk about the golden age. So what was it, the golden age? People were beautiful, perfectly shaped. They would not need to speak, they would communicate telepathically. You just think and the other person understands. Essentially, we were animals. We were beautiful, blonde-haired, blue-eyed animals who could not speak. And that's the idea behind all the esoteric studies. Let's return to the golden age. Let's become that white, blonde, beautiful creatures who would understand each other. But when you really read about the golden age, they were shepherded. Those people, those beautiful beings, they were shepherded. They had gods who would tell them what to do, what to think. And without the thought, without that word, you could not just stare at the stars and understand what that feeling of staring at the stars means for you. So we had beautiful bodies, but we could not speak. So here I am. I have a body and I can speak. And now I need to understand and put into the words what that body means. Why can it move? What kind of sensations it produces? How can I be in the body, preserving my brain and the ability to speak? So this is my philosophy in a nutshell. The speech is of the most importance for the human. If you don't want to think of yourself as an animal, the speech, the only thing that abstract symbolism, the creation of the ideas that is put into the words, that is of the most importance. That's why I try to put into the words the feeling that I have in my body while I move. And while I move the certain way, what feeling arises in me, and label that feeling. Then we can really communicate to the other. The other important thing, that feeling that arises will be different in each of the human bodies, because we want it or we don't want it. But we have individual brains, and our brains, the mapping of our brain is unique for each of you. So the only thing that can unite that feelings are words. So the words can unite. So through the words we can see similarity between our feelings. You know, of note, why pedophiles love the small children before the age of 5 or 6. Because before the age of 5 or 6, the child cannot put his feelings and his experiences into the words. Whatever happened to the child becomes a speechless horror, speechless. To access those feelings that are buried, you know, the body keeps the score. Bessel van der Kolk is the best. I think that he is the absolute genius of the dealing with trauma as a psychologist. So when you are a child, you cannot put it into the words. But when you are an adult, you can discover those buried feelings that becomes like instinct, because before the age of 6, everything is imprinted. We are not Mowglis. We live in the society like a sponge. We absorb. And those imprintings, they do not go anywhere. They actually become a matrix of our future self. The only way to access this matrix, again, through the words. So the idea for me to have a movement, and through movement access the feeling that is buried in my subconscious. To taking this feeling into the surface, I can access it, describe it, and put it into the words. Those words have meaning only for me. Each of you will have a different feeling that arises in your body, and the different feelings will find a different description. But among those words, we can find something that unites us. What unites us is our biologies. Our bodies actually unite us. The medicine, and I was in medical field, the medicine, the machinery of the body, that thing is common for each of us. We all have heart, we all have kidneys, we all have bladder, we all have gallbladder, we all have etc. We all have it, and they function almost like a machine. We need to feed it, but there comes a surprise. The feeding the biological machine takes 10% or less of energy consumption. On the other hand, to feed the brain if you start thinking, can take up to 30% of all the energy that you consume. If you do not think, the brain will consume 10%. So the rest energy drives the muscles, you know. So we need to move the muscle to feel the feelings, to access what's going on in our brains. Not just the cortex, but the subconscious, the social, the biological instincts. The main instinct for every biological species is reproductive. That's why everybody says, oh, creative juices, social babies, creation. Yes, it all comes from the true, real miracle of raising a baby in your body. So, women, by definition, have more access to those feelings. Yes, of course, men can nurture, can do this, but no matter what the modern biology would tell you, that it is all social construct, unless you alter your biology with hundreds of hormones and plastic surgeries. So you become something like a transhuman. You are not what you were born with. You create your own body. So everything comes back to the body. Even for all this wonderful LGBTQ plus whatever community, everything comes back to the body. They want us to believe that it is a social construct, that it is a rational, critical thinking. But access of what? Of your body, of the feelings in your body. So, here we are. We are in the bodies. Thankfully, I am on another side of the hormonal changes. My hormones left me. So I am a real, free of, at least free of this instinctual drive of the biology that takes over every woman. Unless she takes Prozac and a cocktail of other medications to help her go through and be absorbed into the lawyer career or any other career. If she has not met the biological requirement of creating a family and raising children, she will be stuck. No matter how many spiritual babies she'll produce, she'll be forever stuck into this uncontrollable misunderstanding. What is it in her body? What was that? Some of us could not, for whatever reason. But then you come to philosophize and think about, oh, yes, I've been given that body that cannot have children. I am still a woman, so I have to nurture others. I have to nurture like a hen. That is the idea. The idea of the perfect mother is very simple. Biology, you have to be a perfect cat. Have you seen a cat nurturing its kittens? Have you seen it? So that's what the women are in a nutshell. They have to be like a cat to nurture, raise, or a hen. Cat sounds better. I am partial to cats. So, but after all of it, eventually you come on the other side. Unfortunately, you find yourself aged. You know, the time does not stand. In your beautiful 20s, in your beautiful 30s, are far behind you. So, but on another hand, you start understanding what was happening to you. Why did you behave a certain way? Why did you submit to all the circumstances in all the family constriction life? You know, they say marriage is a commitment. Yeah, so does asylum. Asylum means commitment. So you have to commit. No, I don't know, maybe that is it for today. I'll just demonstrate you the movement that I like the most. That helps me to access the flow of energy in the body, the movement called stacking the joints. So it's stacking the hip, the waist, the shoulders, the wrists, fingers, and the neck stays stable. And of course it balances through the ankles, because you have to balance yourself while doing it. So the exercise is quite simple. It follows the train of the connective tissues in the body. See if I can go out, if you see me better. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, here it comes. So figure 8 of the hip. Acroclavicular joints moving the shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, everything moves. That's my favorite. The other my favorite is the stirring the pot. Don't you feel like a witch? You can be a white witch, you can be a black witch, but you stir the pot. Wonderful. Just, I love this. Also, it helps because with my spondylolisthesis, I need to do more flexing. Otherwise, it just pops out. So you do it on another side as well. The other exercise I love is figure 8, that goes from the hips to the chest. Hips, chest. So as you see, all our internal organs, all our life support is in the trunk. That's why I started learning Tai Chi, because Tai Chi, hi puppy, makes the most emphasis on the strength of the internal organs. There is a great book about the flowing of energy, male body versus female body. And well, majority of the Tai Chi will start thinking about heart center, lower dantian. Actually, for women, it is the middle dantian. It is the heart and the lungs. So there are books written. There is actually only one good book that I could find that talks about it. But it is something to think about. That for the women, the energy goes differently. That's why the movement of the arms, connection the arms to the heart and lungs, for women is more important. For men, it's the legs. So that's why all this neck creeping down, blah, 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 all in the legs. And for women, the arms. We nurture, we hold, we hug, we love. That's it for today. Thank you for your patience.